Hello everyone, it's Kari from Sunshine in My Pocket. Thanks for stopping by again today. Today I'm going to be sharing how I swatch my alcohol inks and why I chose the paper that I chose and I set it up the way that I did. So today I have some alcohol ink cardstock here. I also have some alternative cardstocks that are kind of like Yupo paper. They're like a plastic paper, like this one. I love working on this one for some alcohol ink works, but it's so flimsy and thin. I also have this synthetic paper that's also kind of like a plastic paper. And again, it's very thin. So I wanted to use my alcohol ink cardstock today for swatching. It's much thicker. It'll hold up better in my swatch palette. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this paper exclusively today, and I'm going to cut it into quarters. So half of this is 2 3/4 inches, and then I'll turn it the opposite direction and cut it at 2 1/8, I believe. So right there. So basically I'm cutting it in half and then in half again, so I get these nice swatch little pieces of the alcohol ink cardstock, and this is going to be perfect. I also have some 91% isopropyl alcohol, and you can use one of these pipettes if you want, but I really like using it in these bottles that have the fine tip. I find I have a lot more control on how much alcohol I put on there, and then I get a really great result. I am using the Distress Ink Spritzer. This is kind of like the new blower. Tim Holtz has a new one, but I had this one. I still use it. I still love it. I get great results. So I didn't find a reason to purchase the new one that's out. But look at this beautiful aquamarine color. I try to get some lights and darks on my swatches so I can see how it looks at its lightest and how it looks at its darkest. And now to label these. I could get out my label maker if I want, but I saw this really great idea that Amy Rasavi had on her channel where she took the alcohol ink chart that they have on the Ranger website and she cut up the names of all the alcohol inks just like this and then turned them into stickers. So that's what I'm going to do today. It was such a great idea. This is not my idea. I got it from Amy and I thought it was brilliant. So I cut up all those strips with the names of the alcohol inks on them. And now I'm just lining them up and taping a few of them together so that they're small enough to fit in my sticker maker. I'm going to tape them together so that I don't have any strays. And then I'll fold the tape over on each side, kind of like this. You can see I folded that piece of tape over, and then I'll trim off the excess tape, just like so. Then I'm going to feed that through my sticker maker, and what you get is you get a couple of sheets of these labels ready to go. Now all I have to do is find the correct one and cut that out. I'm using my craft knife here just to cut out that little label, and then I'll stick it right on my alcohol ink sample, and I'll show you that in just a minute here. Just sticking that down right there, and look at that. It's all labeled. It is so small in the video, but it works perfect in real life. You can absolutely read them and see what each one is, and I didn't have to use all my label tape for all these alcohol inks. Look how bright this yellow is. This is Dandelion. I'm going to ink swatch just a few of them for you so you can see some of these colors. And as I swatch each one, I label them as well. That way I don't get them mixed up. I have a lot of blues and greens I'm finding. I think blues and greens are probably my favorite to create with. So I definitely didn't want to get them mixed up. This really helps me to see what color I want to use for some of my design work. This one was still a little bit wet, and it's so fun to move that back and forth as it dries. You get some wave looks to it. So I was just having a little bit of fun with this watermelon color. So there's that one as well. I kept doing some swatches, and just so you know, I do have a couple of fans turned on and my air purifier in my room because you want to make sure it's well ventilated. I didn't have a problem, but I did not swatch all of my alcohol inks in one sitting. I have a lot of them. Here's some of my favorites, by the way. Look at that mermaid, and that's boysenberry, and the dark blue is monsoon. And of course, aquamarine has got to be among some of my favorites. So what I'm going to do is I will measure kind of in the center of each of these and then punch a hole right there so I have place for a tag for this to hang on this wire. Now I just happen to have this in my stash already. It came on something that I purchased earlier, and so I kept that knowing that I wanted to use it for a swatch collection. So here's the set so far, and now I'm going to come back and swatch some more. I got a little extra alcohol on that one. That's okay because it will dry pretty quick. Look at this pitch black though. So awesome. And this one kind of turns a little bit purpley, a little raisin colored. It's really, really cool. I've got also a good collection of brown colors. Some of them are more red, some of them are darker. It's really good to have these swatches so I can kind of see which color I want, if I want cooler or darker. By the way, you can clean up any alcohol ink with some isopropyl alcohol. You can also use hand sanitizer on this glass mat and it cleans up beautifully. So that's why I do like doing my alcohol inking on the glass mat. I don't generally use the glass mat for my crafting, but for alcohol inks, absolutely, it works great. So I got smarter later on as I was swatching, and I started doing 2 at a time so that the one on the left could dry while I was swatching the one on the right, and then they both dried in plenty of time while I was searching for the names and got the labels all completely ready. These are really fun to watch. They continue to move as they dry. You can kind of see that on the brown one on the left. And so it is really fun to watch. I think it's fun to watch. So there we go. There's the labels for those ones. And you can see that it gets a little bit quicker the more you get used to doing your swatching. But I'm just about finished with all my color swatches now. This is the last of my colors. I have one more, I think, that I need to do here. And then I'm going to put these all together. So you can see I do have a lot of blues. Look at that stream up above there, up above the bottle. That has got to be a favorite of mine too. So here is citrine, and look how it kind of turns pinky a little bit. That stonewash does too. So it's fun to see the color changes with the swatches. It kind of gives you a hint. Look at that one, has a little more mossy color to it. These ones have a little more pink. So now I'm going to put all of these in with all my swatches. So I've put them in rainbow order, at least the order that made sense to me. So here are all my alcohol inks. I definitely do not have all of them that Ranger makes. I just have a lot and quite a few of my favorite colors. So you can see I have a lot of blues and greens. I only have a few purples, a couple of pinks, and here they are. This is how I set them up in my craft room. I have them on an IKEA shelf, and I have them in rainbow order there too. And then I just hang my swatch tablet right there, or my swatches right there on the left side, so that they're always there when I need them. This is in a little hallway on the way into my craft room, so it's perfect. I can grab swatches, I can grab which inks I need whenever I want, and you can see my collection is growing. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. I will be bringing you some more alcohol ink videos. If you're interested, I'd love to hear your comments below, and I'll be back soon with more inspiration. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.